SimWorld presents Around the Table with E and the Fat Man.
What's up, everybody? It's me, it's the B.O.B., and I am here with my man, E. E, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. I am so excited to have a guest join us for today's show. I love you, Bob, but it's good to get a little bit of variety. It's the spice of life. And Coach Smith, newly of Showtime, coming in to talk with us today. Excited to have Coach Smith here.
How you doing, Coach
Pleasure
Smith?
Pleasure to be here, guys. I'm glad you guys reached out earlier and just ready to talk some ball.
Absolutely. So, everybody, that means this is a special episode of Around the Table with E and the Fat Man. That's E. I'm the Fat Man, and this special episode is 21 Questions with Coach Smith. And, Eric, I'm going to let you go ahead and kick it off.
Yeah, let's just jump right into it. And of course, you know, I mentioned you're newly with Showtime. You move between teams. What was the most fun thing about coaching the Miami Stars last year?
Honestly, just getting into the league, getting acclimated, watching every game and how they developed from when I started to when we unfortunately ended our season.
Yeah, let me ask you a quick little follow-up question before I turn it over to Bob, which is, do you have a favorite player from that team, or, you know, either somebody who was a star or who kind of came along or surprised you that you remember from that season?
No, I'm going to give you the hard answer. No, I don't pick favorites. I like everyone. Everyone has their own personality, their own play style. And I know it sounds cliche. There's no I in team. And that starts with the top down.
It doesn't sound cliche. It sounds like a coach.
Yeah. Well, E gets the good question. I get to ask you, what was the most frustrating thing? Well, you actually kind of answered it already, but I'm still going to ask it. The frustrating thing about the team formerly known as Miami Stars, now known as Yacht Club. I'm assuming you're going to stick with your answer of you guys being eliminated at the end of the season as the most frustrating thing.
Yes, and the limited time I did have with them, due to my own personal health, I'm 100% now.
Yeah.
And if things could have worked out, I would have been back there. But, you know, there's lots of hungry coaches in the league, and I understand that Miami was a hot property.
Yep, understood. Well, you did have them playing better at the end of the year, certainly. So maybe that says something right there. But, I mean, next question, which we've kind of already waded into.
He's kind of answering them all for us before we even ask.
I was going to say, you kind of waded into this one already, you know, as far as what made you jump ship to Showtime. I guess instead of talking about reasons for leaving Miami, maybe what drew you to them?
Could you say that one more time? I kind of lost you.
Oh, that's okay. No worries. I was just saying, you know, maybe instead of maybe the question isn't so much what made you leave Miami as much as what drew you to Showtime.
The bright lights of Los Angeles. Yeah, the bright lights in Miami are nice, and the scene down there is beautiful. But when LA comes calling, you pick up the phone, you answer it, and you give it all you can for as long as you can.
Good answer.
Absolutely. Well, do you have, I know you did have a short time with SimWorld Hoops. I believe you had 9 games under your belt last season. So one of the newer coaches, but do you have a coach or a team that you consider your arch rivals right now?
To be honest, everyone. I know you guys are looking for certain people. Everyone. I'm not discrediting anyone. I'm not sullying a person's name. I'm not trashing anyone. I'm ready for the gauntlet. I want every single one of them their best shot. They're going to get our best shot, and may the best man or team win.
So you heard it here first, Bay Area Breakers. You guys are no better than anybody else.
Coach Smith. Go ahead.
No, it's just the facts, man.
Yeah.
I'm not picking one person or the other. Everyone who comes to play us is going to get their best, and we're going to give them our best. So,
yeah,
I know you guys. You were searching for the Bay City or Bay Area Breakers, but you're not going to get it from me. Everybody, it's everybody.
So, Coach Smith, what's your ambition? What's your kind of level that's ideal for you? And maybe you're already at it with the SimWorld Hoops prep level that you've been in coaching and for coming up on your second year now. But do you have interest in moving on to the collegiate level, the pro level, or maybe into an executive kind of role at some point?
All of the above. I'm going to see what opportunities are out there. I may stay in Los Angeles for an extended period of time, hence how I set up my team in the off season, or I may set somebody else up, per se, an assistant or somebody who really has that desire to take a team with groceries still in the cupboard.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of playing it by ear, seeing what I like, what I dislike, and seeing where the road takes me.
Got to make the best choice for you and your family.
Definitely.
Well,
because I ain't getting any younger here, Jen. So.
Well, do you personally have like a best or a favorite hoops moment, whether it's you playing, someone else playing, watching it, video game, anything at all?
My favorite hoops moment outside of old school anything NBA Jam, the Bulls winning their titles, and then in the sim world, watching us upset the top seed in our first game in the tournament. That was that really got me going.
It as well it should have. A memorable moment from that tournament for sure. So, Coach, is there anybody that you consciously model your coaching style on? Do you have a role model or anybody that you try to follow in terms of the way that you like to coach, your coaching philosophy?
Actually, 3 of them: Nolan Richardson, Bobby Knight, and Frank Martin.
Wow, right. some classic college coaches there. Nolan Richardson.
With a little twist of the Dean in there, Dean Smith.
Okay. All right. Well, those are some blue chip names, certainly. Can't go wrong copying them.
I know I'm not a fan of his teams, but Coach K too. Coach K is one of the GOATs. So yeah, always got to give him props.
Yeah. Yep.
Do you think you could narrow down that list of 5 to just one favorite?
Yeah, Bob Knight.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
I know.
Oh, you just tugged at my Hoosier heartstrings, Coach Smith.
I've always been a fan. I love his quotes. I love his halftime rant against Purdue. I listen to that and I still laugh hysterically, and it just pumps me up every time I hear it.
Good.
For sure. No, I love those coaches that him and man,
were you blanking on, Bob?
I can't. Oh my God, he just died. Mike Leach. Mike Leach. They remind me very much of each other, and they're 2 of my favorite coaches in all of sports. I mean, they've never coached any of my favorite teams, but just their personalities. Their personalities draw you in, and it's hard to, unless you're a rival team, like it's hard to dislike them.
Sounds like you might call them your favorite coaches, Bob.
Maybe I might.
The craziest thing about like all my memories throughout the years is I remember watching Bob Knight live throw his chair across the floor.
Yeah,
sticks out in my brain like it was yesterday.
I'm old enough to remember that too, for better or worse. So, well, Coach Smith, we've talked a lot about hoops, dived a little bit deep on that, but maybe you can throw out 2 things that the audience wouldn't know about you necessarily, wouldn't assume about Coach Smith. A hobby, something from your background, something you're into. It can be off the wall, but 2 things maybe you wouldn't know.
Number 1, I still at almost 40 years old, I like to collect sports cards. Need it be basketball, baseball, football, hockey, UFC, any of that. And fact number 2, I sat, I would say about 10 feet from John Jones at UFC 87, and I was drunk as yes. only remember it because I woke up and looked over, and there he was.
That's great.
So we'll have to. I have to make sure we highlight the fact that he was passed out drunk at a UFC and woke up to see John Jones.
Well, you're darn right. Those Japanese drinks, they have all sorts of different alcohol in it. And I had, I don't know, like a fish bowl, you could say.
Oh,
of it.
yeah.
So, I mean,
Mixing,
and I still
always
got
a good
to see,
idea.
I still got to see Brock Lesnar and GSP compete on that card. So
That's
I woke
awesome.
up just in time.
That's awesome.
That is.
Well, I know we are close to the deadline for the NBA season. Do you have any predictions for the rest of the season, minus the fact that Kyrie's probably he's not gonna get traded? What are your predictions for the rest of the NBA season?
The Bulls are going to blow it up, but build around DeMar DeRozan, and Western Conference is going to be a meat grinder until the very, 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 very end.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Zach LaVine clearly needing a real estate agent if that prediction comes true. I could see him being a key piece.
I see more Vucevic, and then we may try and pedal Lonzo away because his knee isn't getting any better. And
No. It breaks my heart. I'm a Lonzo lover. I'm such a fan of his game, and it breaks my heart that injuries are going to never really let us see the player that I think he could have been.
No.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, that's your prediction for the NBA. How about a prediction for the upcoming SimWorld season? Where do you see Showtime? You know, and you can kind of define this however you want. A national finalist at the end of the year in the tournament, a top 4 team all year long. Where do you kind of see yourselves?
Contender. I'm not going to, blindly predict, champion or this or that, but I'm going to say contender. I love our philosophy. You may or may not see something different out of us this year as it comes to strategy. It'll probably look more of the same, but just a few tweaks here, a few tweaks there, and then sprinkled in with a bit more defense.
Yeah, well, I'll say you might not want to give this up, but so it sounds like you may or may not make some philosophical changes. Is there anything that you think we'll see different?
Just minor tweaks. You'll like what you see. It's still going to be Showtime basketball. Think of the old Showtime Lakers.
Oh yeah,
that's Showtime. That's Showtime. As soon as I got this job, that's what I was going to and am patterning the program after. Showtime. Once we step on that floor, we're balls to the wall. We're having fun, loving on each other, lifting each other up, and getting on each other when sometimes we're lacking.
Yeah, you gotta find a way to live up to that the Showtime name, and it sounds like you're going. I mean, it doesn't sound like it. Pretty sure it's been clear that you've been living up to the Showtime name. So kind of going away from basketball for just a little bit. Do you have any kind of favorite all-time TV series or anything like that?
Yeah, and here's a blast from the way past. I do like the original Unsolved Mysteries with Robert Stack.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not the one with the guy from the one police show.
David Caruso? Does he?
No, I'd love that one too. Dennis Farina, whatever
Dennis
show
Farina.
he was on. I hated that one. I hate the new ones. But the old school Unsolved Mysteries program, there's just something about it.
Yeah.
And fun fact from that's where Matthew McConaughey got his acting start, is Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh, huh. I didn't know that at all.
Good little bit of trivia. I know. I'm usually in charge of the trivia.
He's taking your place. He's trying to replace you.
It really is. I know. Take my job.
I'm
not
sorry,
just
man. You just got to bring it when something like this
when
happens.
it's on the table. That's right. Fat over the plate, smack it. So, Coach, is there a Mrs. Coach Smith, or are you a solo flyer? Or who are you watching Unsolved Mysteries with?
Right now, my cats, but yes, there is a Mrs. It's on the way. It's a work in progress.
Okay. Good answer.
Yeah.
Diplomatic answer.
Hey.
you gotta be diplomatic with that kind of stuff sometimes. But so I know we kind of asked you if you had a favorite player from last season on your team, but you don't play favorites or anything. But is there any of your former pupils that you see having a great or the best pro career? Is there one that really sticks out?
I wouldn't say one person over the next. Everyone on that Miami team came to play, whether it be Bianco or, some of the other guys as well. Bianco stuck out to me because of his play in the tournament.
Yeah.
He really came and bought it and gave it his all. But there were so many guys on that team that could have stepped in to anyone and done the same thing.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Bianco's advantage is that he's just a jump out of the gym athlete.
Yeah.
He'd be great in track and field and probably a half dozen other sports. He could probably bowl. He'd probably be a great bowler if he put his mind to it. I'm definitely a big fan of Bianco. Now, of course, left him behind. So it's going to be a little bit different this year without Dominic, but clearly you've loaded up in LA.
Yeah, that's the name of the game. When it became recruiting season, you kind of had to step back and look at the short term, the long term, and then the fits that you have on the roster, rather that be in recruiting, having to make some cuts, having to fill those holes. Filling those holes is always difficult. There has been, I could think of a handful of players, at least 3 from Showtime that we would have liked to keep, but yet at the same time, the guys who I recruited and bought in fit their Showtime basketball. Each of them has their own special, unique skill set that will fit into the total picture, hence why we bought them in. I know some look for, physical traits. Some look at like what kind of shooter or what kind of ball handler they are. We just looked for the right fit for us, handpicked them. Yes, we did have to make a few cuts that were really, really agonizing, but at the end of the day, I believe we have 10 legit rotational pieces that can come in, pick up where the next man left off, and not drop any bit of play. Our level of play will not drop at all.
Now, with all of that said, there's some big names in the bright lights of Los Angeles. A real focal point. I mean, I think people are going to be expecting, Bronny to kind of be there at the tip of the spear. Is that fair to say?
Who was that again? Who'd you say?
Your favorite player.
Here comes the hate.
Yeah.
Yes,
you kept it up this far, which is amazing. But go ahead, Coach.
It will be, I wouldn't say a spear. It will be more like a pitchfork. We'll have 2, 3, 4 guys that are leading the charge. Of course, the big name would be Bronny, Yams, Letterman, Juka G, one of our returning
Malcolm
players.
Chamberlain, not Shaq Chamberlain.
Yeah, that was confusing to me. All of a sudden, I didn't get the player that I thought I was getting, and then I had him, and then he had, unfortunately, he had went missing. I reached out 2 or 3 or I think 4 times, and it's a move you have to make.
Yeah.
And then when I saw a player like Mark Chisholm come available, you have to make that move. Yeah. I've known Mark for, at least 2, 3, 4 years now, and every league that I've been in, he's just an awesome guy. Same as Letterman. When you see those kind of people, you have to get them. You have to bring them to the team. They're team players. They're not selfish. They just want a star. And yes, everybody can't be stars, but you can make them into stars in their role.
Yeah. All right. Well, enough making you worry about real world headaches. Let's do some fun daydreaming here for a minute as we're getting to the end of our questions, Coach.
Sounds
Looking for six
good.
names. Looking for six names. An all-time starting lineup plus the coach for you. So it could be particular to you. You don't necessarily have to name the 5 best players ever, but for Coach Smith's 5 and a coach, because you're going to be on the sidelines for this one, who you got?
Head coach Phil Jackson.
Like it.
Point guard, we'll say Pistol Pete.
Ooh.
Shooting guard, Michael Jordan. Small forward, LeBron James. Power forward.
Yeah.
See, this is where it gets tough.
It is. The power forward is the toughest. I agree.
I'm going to go with Tim Duncan.
Yep.
And center, Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah. Yeah, that team's going to score about 140 a night. I like it.
And that's just shooting from the hip. If I had a list in front of me, it would get even more difficult. Phil Jackson, the Zen master. If I had to choose a second coach, it'd probably be Red Auerbach, even though I don't like the Celtics, but I would have to go with Red if I had to pick a number 2 there.
Yeah. Well, go ahead. Sorry, Coach.
Yeah. Yes, I have LeBron James' sons on our squad. He is an all-time great. His longevity is second to none. The way he keeps his physical body is astounding. It's almost Tom Brady-esque.
Yeah, I'd love to know what he's putting in his smoothies in the morning. But
send me some of them too.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, so you gave us your top 5. Is there a particular player in your top 5? You might not even have put him in your top 5 because, again, that's not an easy thing to do. Is there one player, if you were building a team, who is that one player that you would build your team around?
Oh, I would say a guy like Dennis Rodman. Yes,
all right.
His outward personality is, a little bit out there, but he's a guy who does the dirty work. You don't have to worry about him scoring 40 a night. He'll rebound, he'll hustle, he'll get dirty, he'll piss people off, he'll get inside people's heads. He does all the things that need to be done on the basketball floor, and then people feed off that.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. Like he will, as big of a personality as he is, he was never outside of obviously being physical on the court. People were going to hit him. He wasn't going to cross that line. He was going to get people to hit him. He was going to get them off their game. And no, that's a great. I'm surprised that was your choice, but I think that's a great choice.
Well, just sitting and thinking about my experience in real life as a coach and in SimWorld, and just even watching my daughter today. I tell her, I don't care if you score 2, 100, but the things you can control on the basketball court are hustling, being coachable, and always giving 110%.
Absolutely.
And by golly, she did it. And that makes me proud. And I like people like that. I want hard hat and lunch pail guys and gals. You got to have them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Coach, we're coming down to the very end of our questions here.
Mm-hmm.
So you've mentioned the Bulls, talked about the Bulls. My money's on the Bulls being the answer here, but let's find out. What's your favorite sports team? What's your favorite sports franchise?
I'm not going to spoil it. I think I know what it is. I don't think it's the Bulls, but I'll let him say.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
My favorite sports team in professional sports is the Dallas Cowboys.
My
favorite college team are the Nebraska Cornhuskers, and I live in Iowa.
Right.
Oh God.
Right.
That's
Well,
that's probably hard.
Bob, I came into the podcast, the recording today, expecting to like the show, but I didn't know I was going to fall in love. This guy, Bob Knight fan, Dallas Cowboys fan. I think you did your research and you're just trying to butter me up, Coach.
No, this is straight from the heart, man. This is all me.
Me too. Die hard Cowboy. We just hired
Darn right.
Just hired Schottenheimer as the new offensive coordinator over the weekend. As a matter of fact, news just breaking here on SimWorld.
I'm gonna like that. I think Kellen Morris, excuse me, is a great mind, but with Mike McCarthy and Schottenheimer in the house, I think you're gonna watch Dak's play start to take off even more. But we need to get a solid number 2 wide receiver. We can't have, half-assed Michael Gallup out there and the rest of the pieces. We need a legitimate number 2. I want to see Odell. That's a pipe dream, but I want to see Odell at 100%, give us 2-3 good years, win us a bowl, and then I'll be good.
I'd be pretty happy with that too. No complaints.
And I'll say, Eric, my assumption was he was going to say Nebraska. I know I've seen him, I've seen him mention Nebraska a couple of times. Their recruiting trail this season. So, well,
heck yeah, I'm so pumped.
It'll be. I want to say it'll be nice, but I don't want any other Big Ten teams getting close to Ohio State. I'm a Penn State fan, so I don't want to see any more teams be good, but they haven't been doing bad on the recruiting trail. So, but it'll be nice to see Nebraska get back. Tommy Frazier is one of my favorite all-time players. He was ridiculous. I had the blood clots. That's a very unfortunate thing that happened and stuff. But
yeah.
And here's another fun fact. I have them as well. I've had them in both legs multiple times. That's what kind of drew me even closer to Nebraska. It's because he had those and I had those, and I also am a old school Miami Hurricanes fan. I loved the Canes back in the day.
When they had 52 first round draft picks on the field.
Darn right. And then when they made their infamous rap and almost got their football program axed. Yeah. I could go on for hours, Jen. I could go on for hours.
I couldn't imagine having. I don't know. Frank Gore was like the 4th or 5th string running. I couldn't. Could you imagine? Say, hey, we got Frank Gore. He's like our 5th string running back.
Well, Willis McGahee, get in there. Oh, you blew your knee. Don't worry about it. We got 3 more.
Well, did you play any sports when you were growing up?
Yep, I played everything that my small school had. I ran track, I played basketball, I played baseball, I was pretty darn solid at football, and we didn't have wrestling or anything like that, but I did excel on the football field. Unfortunately, the blood clots took away my ability to play anymore, but I did get a state championship out of it all, so I will gladly trade my own, selfish wants or needs for the team goal.
Absolutely. Awesome.
And, another fun fact, Fred Jackson and my high school quarterback were in the same backfield at Coe College in Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Strong.
My head coach was Fred Jackson's head coach at Coe College.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, yeah, indeed.
But yeah, that, just a little bit about me. Some people may not like my personality. Some people love it. You can't please everyone. So if you ever have any issues with me in the chat or something I said, please reach out.
No, you're authentic. You're authentic, and that's okay.
Yeah, I come off maybe sometimes as a jerk, but I'm not a jerk.
Well, I certainly didn't get that impression today, Coach, and it has been great having you here.
we're
Both
gonna
Bob
Great
and
being
I-
here.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up with 2 last questions.
Yeah.
Eric, do you have a super secret question for him?
I do. So a question Bob and I have not revealed to each other, much less Coach Smith. So here it comes out of the blue. Coach Smith, Bob and I often close the show by making some predictions on some very pertinent sporting events coming up. You won't be with us next weekend for the Super Bowl, so let's go ahead and get your Super Bowl prediction now. Who do you got? Kansas
Chiefs
City.
and a blow. Chiefs and a
Chiefs and a
blowout. I hate
blowout.
the Eagles.
Yeah, me too. Oh my gosh. I love it. We are so alike, Coach. Oh, I'm so happy I asked that question now. Bob, you're not going to top that, but try.
No, I think I'm going to. Coach, how is your favorite way to cook yams?
Slow and steady wins the race.
Well, Coach Smith, I appreciate you guys being on today. Coach Smith, thank you for taking the time out of your day to hop on here with us. Do you have any final words for the people?
Strap yourself in, get your popcorn ready, and March will be here in no time.
Yep, we're looking forward to watching Showtime be part of it too, Coach. So thank you so much for being here, and we're looking forward to seeing what you do with that squad this year.
All right, thank you guys so much, and don't be strangers. You can jump in my inbox anytime you need.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, Coach Smith. Appreciate you, E. Have a great rest of your weekend, everybody.
Bye-bye.
You guys as well.